As Chancellor of the University, I declare this congregation open for the conferring of degrees by authority of the Senate and of the Council.
Lord Lieutenant, my Lord Mayor, High Sheriffs, Chancellor, distinguished guests, parents, friends and graduands, as Vice-Chancellor, I am delighted to welcome you to this degree congregation. It is a celebration for all those who graduate today from a leading international research and teaching university that has been placed in the top group of UK universities. In the last 6 months, Leicester was one of 4 universities nominated for the title Institution of the Year by the Times Higher Education Supplement. We were joint top in the National Student Survey among institutions teaching full-time students. We were placed top for teaching quality and also for overall performance. And 2/3 of our departments were placed in the top 10 universities in the UK. We were also placed in the top 500 universities in the world, where we were placed at 151st. If you look at the data for the top 200 universities in the world, you find that we occupy a lower position. I'm sure that as social scientists you would agree with me. The second set of data are methodologically flawed. Finally, we were delighted that our Students' Union was awarded the title Students' Union of the Year in the UK. It again goes to show that in Leicester you can have a fantastic time intellectually as well as socially. And I can see that many of you no doubt have over the years. In all these ways, the reputation of the university develops and grows. All graduations are special, and this one is no exception. It is the first time that our Chancellor, Sir Peter Williams, has presided at a ceremony for the award of postgraduate qualifications. Sir Peter has a distinguished record in the academic and business worlds and plays a major role in looking at the interface between business and academic developments and making sure that the academic community forges ahead and keeps moving rather than to stagnate or go backwards. Indeed, this is a major challenge, but we certainly look forward to working with him in order that he stimulates the University of Leicester to move ever forward as a dynamic university, and we welcome him here today very much. We are very fortunate to have persuaded Sir Peter to become our Chancellor. Our ceremony is also special as it is predominantly for postgraduate students who constitute approximately 50% of the university's population, a feature that makes Leicester unique in the UK. Many of you have combined work with part-time study, and in turn, many of you have studied with us through distance learning methods, an approach that I hope will not only appeal to you, but also appeal to parents, relatives and friends who would like to find their way to the Montfort Hall graduation ceremony in a year or two from now. Indeed, I'm sure that if anyone has a burning desire to start a distance learning course being inspired by our graduates today, our staff will be delighted to sign you up at the end of the ceremony, so you too could be receiving packages at home as early as next week. Indeed, those of you who are graduating today with master's degrees may well wish to engage on further study for doctorates or other specialist qualifications that we offer. So do take the opportunity while you're in Leicester to explore these possibilities with your tutors. Leicester is a university that makes lifelong learning a reality. kind of university are you about to graduate from? We are a university with 19,000 students and 3,000 staff, and in the last academic year, the turnover of the university was approximately £167 million. We are a business with higher education at its heart. All the activities in which we engage, research and teaching, need to be done to the highest quality. They also need to operate in a way that means money is available to engage in new developments on the campus. We continually seek to develop and improve our facilities. We have recently constructed a £20 million biomedical building, and we're now embarking on the largest capital project the university has developed, namely a £25 million complex involving the library, an auditorium, a cafe and a bookshop. It will be the central hub of the campus, which is quite appropriate, as in my view, university libraries actually are important for path-breaking research and excellent teaching. In that sense, we will build on the tradition that has been developed in the library and have at the heart of our campus a landmark building developing hybrid systems in terms of digital material as well as printed copy. We are also, at the present time, continuing to develop our halls of residence, and we are building a 574 study bedroom hall out at Oadby. As I indicated at the degree ceremony this morning, this will open in September 2006. And that's a message that I hope people in this degree congregation will not only convey to our estates office, but also to the developers who are in fact a local company. Such projects require further funding over and above the resources that are made available to us by government. It is very appropriate that we use government funding in order to lever additional funds that can be used to develop and sustain a dynamic university. We have therefore commenced a systematic fundraising campaign that focuses on 3 landmark projects. Firstly, the support of the university library development. Secondly, engaging in the development of a cardiovascular research institute that will be constructed on one of the hospital sites in the city. And finally, very exciting possibilities in developing new research, new projects, and most importantly, appointing new people. All these things become possibilities with the level of resources that are made available by government and by private individuals, companies and others. I hope you will wish to explore supporting the university together with our alumni, but you may be able to introduce us to a trust or a donor, or those of you who are engaged in the world of work may be employed by a company who would be very pleased to be associated with the development in a leading university. In this sense, any of those possibilities, as well as personal donations, are very welcome. So please don't hesitate to contact us if you have an idea. We would be delighted to hear about it. Finally, I would like to congratulate you all on the award of your degrees. I hope you will keep in touch with the university and look forward to seeing you at alumni events over the years. But before I close, I would like you to join with me in thanking parents, relatives and friends for their support. So I would now ask the graduating class of 2006 to join me in a round of applause for those people. That's very good, and I hope that you will continue to applaud your fellow graduates throughout the afternoon. It always makes for a very enjoyable occasion. It is a great celebration, and it's a great celebratory event. Have an absolutely splendid day with us, and all good wishes to you for your future careers.
The cover of the theatre magazine Encore in the autumn of 1958 featured a photograph of 8 British playwrights, including youthful versions of Arnold Wesker, Harold Pinter, John Mortimer, and our own David Campton. We claim David Campton as our own because he is a Leicester man who attended what is now the Sixth Form College beside this university. Decades later, he still lives in the Leicester suburb of Glenfield. As a young man, David Campton worked as a clerk for the local education authority and then for the gas board. During and immediately after the war, he served in the RAF and the Fleet Air Arm. His association with this university began in 1950, when he was working for the gas board by day in an office that is now part of our School of Education, and by night inhabiting the world of drama. Together with Joe Orton, he became involved with the Vaughan Players, an amateur company based at Vaughan College, which is the university's adult education base in the city centre. The Vaughan Players staged 5 of David Campton's plays between 1950 and 1955. The consequences of this series of performances include the production of several more plays at the Library Theatre in Scarborough, where Alan Ayckbourn was one of the actors. That friendship persists to this day. The manuscript of his first play at Scarborough, Dragons Are Dangerous, together with the rest of David Campton's papers, can be seen in our university library, to which he has generously donated his theatrical archive. The significance of Dragons Are Dangerous in David Campton's life was twofold. First, it was his gateway to television drama, which was to become one of his most important outlets. And second, it enabled him to part company with the gas board. In the 1950s and 1960s, David Campton's plays sometimes centred on horror, which is one of the components in theatre of the absurd, a genre in which the world is presented as disjointed and meaningless and bewildering. In his Memento Mori, for example, a young man tries to buy a house with a view to hiding the body of his murdered wife under the floorboards. The vendor is reluctant to sell because his wife is already buried under the floorboards. Such plots have analogies in the work of contemporaries such as Albee, Beckett, Genet, and Pinter, in whose birthday party David Campton acted, but the closest point of contact is with the plays of Eugène Ionesco, to whom David Campton was in the 1960s England's answer. The Englishness of his work of this period, most clearly shared with Pinter, lies in its social concerns, the instabilities occasioned by the collapse of cohesive pre-war values and certainties and the threat of the bomb. In a play called Then, the only survivors of a hydrogen bomb are a teacher and a beauty queen, they being the only people who have obeyed the instructions to cover their heads with paper bags. They refuse to remove the bags from their heads, which proves to be something of an impediment to their burgeoning love. One of the striking aspects of David Campton's art is that, like composers, he often writes for a specific company or type of company. Everybody's Friend, which centres on an argument about a potted plant, was written for an amateur women's company, as was Our Branch in Brussels, in which an English lady finances a worthy charity by dispatching those in her care to work in a brothel in Brussels. Other plays have been written for children or for touring companies. The one that may be of real interest to those present today and will recognise as their own is called In Committee, in which a torrent of committee speak leads nowhere and members of the cast are gradually replaced by members of the audience. These plays are suffused with laughter, but that laughter is often dark. Indeed, comedy in David Campton's plays is often poignant, and that combination is his trademark. Laughter is robust, but poignancy is delicate, and the two are not natural bedfellows. In The End of the Picnic, a stage play that later became a radio play, a couple go for a picnic with their son on whom they dote. They are joined by a young woman who walks away with the son. The father, watching the young couple through his binoculars, sees his son giving an engagement ring to the young woman. The couple realize that they're going to lose their son to this young woman, and so for the first time in years turn to each other in an attempt to rekindle an emotionally barren relationship. Capturing those emotions requires the skills of a master craftsman like David Campton. In all of this, David Campton has remained loyal to Leicester and to Leicestershire. He has written plays for the Haymarket Theatres in Leicester and for the Phoenix. His commitment to theatre for ordinary people has taken him into the world of other theatre, of locations and companies that reach a wider audience than do traditional theatres. He has, for example, written plays for the Leicester Federation of Townswomen's Guilds and the Leicestershire Federation of Women's Institutes. His plays for the East Midlands Arts Touring Company, which have been performed in local prisons as well as local prison village halls, include Ragabo, a frantic comedy that received its first tumultuous performance in the village hall of the Leicestershire village of Peckleton. His radio and television plays have reached wide audiences, and these plays for amateur actors and improbable venues have reached many new audiences. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and of the Council, I present to you David Campton that you may confer upon him the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
Sir, I lift you to the degree of Doctor of Letters and we welcome you among us. Many congratulations, David. Please, take your bow.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Prost-Chancellor, Lord Lieutenant, Lord Mayor, members of Senate and Council, distinguished guests and fellow graduates. In thanking the University for bestowing the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters, I should like to include my 16-year-old younger self. Back in the second year of the Second World War, he had just matriculated, and masters at school were urging him to stay on and try for a university scholarship. Unfortunately, with a father going blind, this proved impossible, and it was imperative that the family had another income coming in. Even the suggestion of taking a pharmacy course fell through on account of lack of funds. The alternative was to take a job with a local council, putting aside all ideas of university or a degree. After this, fate, by whatever name, seemed to take over with a series of accidents, coincidence, flukes and surprises. For instance, called up, he found himself for 2 years in an RAF camp with its own theatre and a thriving drama group. That was the beginning. A few years later, by the merest chance, he encountered Stephen Joseph about to start that new theatre in Scarborough, and for the next 10 years found himself writing, acting, directing, even at times managing, taking charge of the box office and sweeping the stage. A dramatic critic of the Times, on a whim, happened to take in a programme of one-act plays, and then devoted a whole column to this discovery, expanding that chapter in a subsequent book. Even later, an urgent request from the head of drama at a college of education led to teaching drama once a week for 3 terms, part of which involved writing plays for students. Some of these are still performed worldwide. And so, 100 or more plays later, he found himself here. because wherever that 16-year-old is, I have to be, and vice versa. If I could have words with him over 65 intervening years, I should say, don't be too disappointed over missing that degree, chum. It's all going to work out, for which we both sincerely say thank you to the University of Leicester.
The graduands in the Faculty of the Social Sciences will be presented by the Dean, Professor Jackson. Will all graduands in the faculty please stand?
Mr. Chancellor, I ask you to admit these candidates from the Faculty of the Social Sciences to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Graduands of the Faculty of the Social Sciences, by the authority of the Senate, I admit you to the several degrees for which you have been presented.
For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Salah Dabil. For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Saad Ahmed Al-Kastani. Richard Osei Asibi Bonsu. Bandar Muhammad Asiri. Khalid Bada. Emma Bailey. Dario Bersiga. John Stephen Byatt. Sukming Crystal Chan. Patience Chumwala. Kit Ching Chung. Graham Cullen. Ian Gary Cummings. Jocelyn Oretta Dasent. Thanslos Dominic. Mustafa El Farouk. Lisa Avely. Margaret Grace Furness. Mario Patrick Guerra. Nadim Anwar Haq. Ya Wen Xu. Shin Mei Aster Hung. Alan Jackson. David Anthony Lang. Anders Lindstrom. Susan Lyons. Paul Main. Simon James Mayer. Rama Masagazi. Dimitris Michaelides. Sulociano Moore Henderson.
Many congratulations.
Zura Malumba.
Many congratulations.
Neil Owen.
Many congratulations.
Sunil Patel.
Congratulations.
Jonathan Robert Penrose.
Very good.
Karthik Ramkrishnan.
Many congratulations.
Suresh Sanandran.
Congratulations. Well done.
Swee Jung Sung.
Congratulations.
Michael Oluwimi Kolawole Tijuso.
Congratulations. Well
Joanne Thornton.
done. Many congratulations. Well done.
Mei Wan Militing.
Congratulations.
John Tuve.
Very good.
Sung Jin Se.
Congratulations.
Ishfaq Ullah.
Many congratulations.
Sunda Marakala Virasanana.
Well done. Many congratulations.
Chu Chun Wei.
Congratulations.
Daniel John Wild.
Well done, Edward.
Hamud Vijay Naratna.
Congratulations.
Neil Wolstenholm.
Congratulations.
Harlan Young.
Congratulations. Well done.
Michael Ashimpong.
Congratulations, Prophet.
Emmanuel Mensa Asiedu.
Many congratulations.
Michael Bani Antwi.
Well done. Congratulations.
Christian Javeda Delmel.
Well done. Congratulations.
Abu Bakr Kwame Esuman.
Many congratulations.
Samuel Fulitzi.
Well done, Samuel.
Asamina Yosefakis.
Congratulations. Well done.
Carol Mansell.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration Finance, Emmanuel Tewa Abeyogi.
Well done, Emmanuel. Congratulations.
Edward Akar.
Congratulations.
Moses Agimain.
Congratulations.
Suleiman Hamad Al-Hathi.
Many congratulations.
Isaac Antwi Boseki.
Well done. Congratulations.
Stephen Apiagi.
Well done, Stephen.
Kenneth Ashigbe.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Kwame Asiem.
Congratulations.
Mark William Antipo.
Congratulations.
Mark Berko.
Well done. Congratulations.
Garjeev Bhattacharya.
Congratulations.
Akwasi Adu Boheni.
Congratulations. Well done.
Dankwa Jeff Bwaki.
Congratulations.
Adasi Boteng.
Many congratulations to you.
Renzin A. Butalid.
Congratulations.
Nana Kofi Amisa Ensho.
Congratulations. Near missed that.
Cynthia Hayford.
Congratulations, Cynthia. Well done.
Kwame Agie Hena.
Congratulations.
Chang Sin Hyung.
Congratulations.
Albert Johnson.
Congratulations.
Eric Nakperti Koji.
Congratulations.
Nana Kum.
Congratulations.
Isaac Kwangping.
Many congratulations.
Daniel Kwasi Kwangpong.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Anita Misra,
Well done. Congratulations.
Kingsley William Kweku Okini,
Congratulations. Well done.
Brenda Okoth,
Many congratulations.
Bonsu Kwabena Ose,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Rodrigo Gabriel Requelme,
Congratulations.
Harriet Roman,
Congratulations. Well done.
Cecilia Roseri Marcus,
Many congratulations.
Sheila Sankar,
Congratulations. Well done.
Francis Kofi Sobri Frimpong,
Well done, Francis. Congratulations.
Sandra Storod,
Well done, Sandra.
winner of the prize for the best distance learning MBA student in the Management Centre, Marta Vobilisetti.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Kwame Odom Yoba Korang,
Many congratulations.
Yu Zhan Zhang,
Congratulations.
Michelle Spiteri Bailey.
Many congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration Information Technology Management, Michael Kwasi Azeo Botse,
Congratulations, Michael. Well done.
Vanessa Fisher,
Well done, Vanessa. Congratulations.
William Hewish,
Congratulations.
Hyacinth Beverly McLean,
Many congratulations.
Isaac Naami,
Congratulations.
Moditha Damika Climara Suman Sikera,
Congratulations. Well done.
for the degree of Master of Business Administration Maritime Management, Anastasia Leyu,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Sidadura Siriwarenda,
Congratulations. Well done.
for the degree of Master of Business Administration Marketing, Mahmoud Abu Bakr,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Johnson Ajeti,
Many congratulations.
Kwaku Francis Anning,
Many congratulations.
Augustine Antwi Boaseko,
Well done. Congratulations.
Robert Appiah,
Congratulations. Well done.
William Ari Arma,
Well done. Congratulations.
Richard Asante,
Congratulations.
Christine Ann Awino,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Ying Fei Chen,
Well done. Congratulations.
Thomas Joseph Demek,
Well done, Thomas. Congratulations.
Emmanuel Edu Ba Hazel,
Congratulations.
Alex Weku Hammond,
Many congratulations.
Omar Hayat,
Well done. Well done. Congratulations.
Ihab Monir Kamel,
Many congratulations.
Noble Josie Kulamakutil,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Shu Ling Li,
Congratulations. Well done.
Su Yu Liu,
Congratulations.
Li Lin,
Congratulations. Well done.
Mei Sun Lin,
Congratulations. Well done.
Samuel Moran,
Well done, Samuel.
Stephen Marriott,
Well done, Stephen.
Alberta Minta Jacobs,
Congratulations. Well done.
Keone Ronald Mukasa,
Many congratulations.
Naboth Murangira,
Well done. Congratulations.
David Murithi,
Congratulations. Well done.
Kenneth Ashali Okini,
Well done. Congratulations.
Ajay Kwabena Ose,
Congratulations.
Godfrey Owusu Yeboah,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Daniel Panford Quenu,
Congratulations.
Catherine Marie Smith,
Well done, Catherine. Congratulations.
Paul Stephen Surridge,
Congratulations, Paul.
Suresh Vobilasetti,
Well done, congratulations. Well done.
Ling Hua Wu,
Congratulations. Well done.
Su Ni Yang,
Congratulations.
Redwan Nassem Youssef,
Many congratulations. Well done.
for the degree of Master of Business Administration Sports Management, Stephen Atkinson.
Well done, Stephen.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration Supply Chain Management, Vivian Elizabeth Boland.
Congratulations, Vivian. Well done with all the work.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration Total Quality Management, Ali Al-Habishi.
Congratulations. Well done.
Antoine Galia,
Well done, John. Congratulations.
Joel Mungoni,
Many congratulations.
Chetna Patel,
Congratulations. Well done.
Mohammed Jamil Muarak Sia,
Congratulations.
Sarit Tagore,
Congratulations. Well done.
Sampa Wasala,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Why do people take up a career in science? What made Darwin spend years in a cramped and uncomfortable ship studying natural history? Why was Einstein's life dominated by the speed of light? These are knotty problems with no clear answers. In the case of John Enderby, however, we do have a clear answer: the British habit of queuing. In 1953, the young John Enderby, who was then teaching at a secondary modern school in London, went to Birkbeck College with a friend to sign up for a part-time degree. Both he and the friend were undecided as to whether they should study geography or physics. On arrival at the college, they discovered that the queue for geography was much longer than that for physics. Nothing changes. So they opted for the latter subject. That this was the correct choice is shown by the fact that Enderby and his friend later both became Fellows of the Royal Society. After graduating from Birkbeck, John Enderby stayed on there to study for his doctorate, working on the electronic and structural properties of liquid metals. Much of this research was in fact carried out in very primitive conditions at the Huddersfield College of Technology, where John Enderby held a lectureship from 1957. He continued this work after his move to Sheffield as a lecturer in 1960, and in 1967 published a pioneering paper on liquid copper-tin alloys. This was the first determination of the partial structure factors of a liquid alloy, and the technique used, that of neutron diffraction with isotopic substitution, formed the backbone of his later research, both at Leicester, where he was professor and head of department from 1969 to 1975, and then at Bristol from 1976 until his retirement in 1994. Whilst at Leicester, he began a productive study using neutron diffraction, of the structure of molten salts and aqueous solutions, leading a group which continued to produce impressive work after his departure. So many years later, it still surprises people when they learn how well defined the structure of a liquid actually is. In recent years, he has turned his attention to more complex systems, including polyelectrolytes, using DNA as a model material in investigations of counter-ion properties and chain folding. He has also become very interested in the application of infrared spectroscopy to problems in healthcare, and since 2004 has been chairman of Melis Diagnostics, a company developing new technology for the non-invasive monitoring of glucose in humans. Whilst head of department at Leicester, John Enderby was confronted with the problem of the imminent collapse of the physics building. One morning in 1973, the ceiling of a lecture theatre in the adjacent Bennett building collapsed, fortunately without injuring anyone. It was discovered that both that building and the physics building had been constructed in the early 1960s using high alumina cement beams, which had lost their strength. The physics building was rapidly supported from within by some hundreds of jacks to take the load off the beams, but there still remained the problem of how to remedy the situation permanently. The solution was to add extra steel uprights to support the floors, uprights that can still be observed. The work was done in stages, with those affected by the current work being moved to other parts of the building. The process was organised by John Enderby in such a way that no one in physics lost any working time, there was minimal disruption to the teaching, and the job was completed reasonably quickly. John Enderby further honed his administrative skills as head of department at Bristol between 1981 and 1994. His abilities were recognised by his appointment as the British director of the Institut Laue-Langevin in Grenoble, a post he held from 1985 to 1988 whilst on leave from Bristol. The Institut Laue-Langevin is the European Neutron Diffraction Facility, jointly run and funded by France, Germany and the United Kingdom. It is a user facility with literally thousands of scientists using it each year, and its efficient operation requires administrative skills of a high order. Whilst he was in Grenoble, the Institute also became responsible for the early stages of the construction of the European Synchrotron Radiation Facility, also at Grenoble, with Enderby as the responsible manager. Ground clearance was complicated by the fact that the site had previously been used as an artillery firing range and had to be cleared of live shells and other debris. John Enderby was elected to the Fellowship of the Royal Society in 1985. He served on its council from 1990 to 1992 and was Vice President and Physical Secretary from 1999 to 2004. He was awarded the CBE in 1997 and knighted for his services to science in 2004. He is currently President of the Institute of Physics, the professional body for physicists in the United Kingdom. As such, he continues to be deeply involved in promoting physics and physics education. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and of the Council, I present Professor Sir John Enderby, that you may confer upon him the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Science.
Sir, I've written to the degree of Honorary Doctor of Science. I will welcome you back to London. Very congratulations. Very congratulations.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Lord Lieutenant, Lord Mayor, members of Senate and Council, distinguished guests and fellow graduates. I think one of the most pleasant events in the academic life is to be awarded an honorary degree from the university where one was once employed. In a real sense, it is a homecoming, as I rejoin the university as one of its graduates, like you, except, of course, I was excused the rigours of exams and coursework which you have had to cope with to survive. Now, when I left the university in the mid-1970s, it was already a distinguished academic institution by national standards. And it is a great pleasure that I have followed its development into a university of truly world class. I hope, Mr. Chancellor, that my leaving and the subsequent transition from national to international excellence was not an example of cause and effect. Nevertheless, it gives me a feeling of great pride as I look around the campus and see the scale of changes over the past 20 years. The medical school, for example, which were just beginning in the mid-1970s, is now established as one of the best in the country. The Department of Genetics, where the technique of DNA fingerprinting was perfected, is now ranked as one of the best in the world. DNA fingerprinting has transformed forensic science and was born and bred here in Leicester. Then there was the pioneering idea of having centres of research, now widely copied throughout the university system in the UK. When I was in Chicago a couple of years ago, I was reminded by a friend of the outstanding interest in things Victorian, largely through the work of the Centre for Victorian Studies, again here in Leicester. And at the Space Science, which I was taken to this morning, I had a chance to look around with my family. This is a truly innovative and exciting way of stimulating interest, especially among the young, in science and engineering. So, Mr. Chancellor, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, members of Council and Senate, thank you for this singular honour and for giving me the chance to renew my contacts with the University of Leicester. I wish you continued success in the future. Thank you.
The remaining graduands in the Faculty of the Social Sciences will now be presented by the Dean, Professor Jackson.
For the degree of Master of Science in Applied Criminology, Rebecca Clark.
Congratulations.
David Cowell.
Congratulations.
Hayley Rathbone.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Jaskaran Thakar.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Business Analysis and Finance, Omar Chowdhury.
Congratulations.
Chao Yan Chen.
Congratulations.
Chao Yang Chen.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Antigone Christodoulou.
Congratulations.
Elena Christou.
Congratulations.
Georgios Dimitriadis.
Congratulations.
Godwin Doss.
Congratulations.
Eve Elia.
Congratulations.
Ye Feng.
Congratulations.
Saminder Hoti.
Congratulations.
Han Huang.
Congratulations.
Antonius Kouluriadis.
Well done. Congratulations.
Pen Lee.
Congratulations.
Wan Lin Lee.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Jen Lee.
Congratulations.
Chow Ma.
Congratulations.
Flamboyant Gillian Mutanga.
Congratulations.
Alexia Onisifuru.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Pafitis.
Congratulations.
Lu Run.
Congratulations.
Duan Wang.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Lu Wang.
Congratulations.
Shang Wang.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Dong Ming Shi.
Congratulations.
Ying Yang.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yu Zhang.
Congratulations.
Piling Zhu.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Clinical Criminology, Melody Askari.
Congratulations.
Rajinder Banwe.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Colleen Brown.
Congratulations.
Anna Hefford.
Congratulations.
Elisa Impara.
Congratulations.
Claire Markham.
Congratulations.
Tyrone Owen McCarty.
Congratulations.
Satya Patel.
Congratulations. Thank you.
For the degree of Master of Science in Community Safety, John Fleming.
Congratulations. Thank you.
David Whiting.
Congratulations.
Sandra Williams.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Criminal Justice, Henry Gathogo.
Congratulations. Thank you.
For the degree of Master of Science in Criminology, Khalid Al-Hajri.
Congratulations.
Megalam Bal Armugam.
Congratulations.
Vishal Deepchand.
Congratulations.
Winnie Gassa.
Congratulations.
Simon Harris.
Congratulations.
Sasha Hounslow.
Congratulations.
Victoria Lyons.
Congratulations.
Christopher McGurran.
Congratulations.
Sarah Sophie Repa.
Congratulations.
Paul Roll.
Congratulations.
Shital Vyas.
Congratulations.
Martin White.
Congratulations.
Philip White.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Economics, Asib Ali.
Congratulations.
Thomas Allen.
Well done. Congratulations.
Mohammed Shohan.
Congratulations.
Sebastian Kohn.
Congratulations.
Shiwi Lee.
Well done.
Rumi Zhang.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Emergency Planning Management, Vincent Cronley.
Congratulations.
Janice Hodgson.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Finance, Omaleye Akinleye. Panagis Alivizatos.
Congratulations.
Niarchos Antonio.
Congratulations.
Franco Azopardi.
Congratulations.
Davinjarit Singh Bansal.
Congratulations.
Rajit Bath.
Congratulations.
Zerin Kalkan.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Hui Chen Chen.
Congratulations.
Chao Li Chu.
Congratulations.
Kiran K.
Congratulations.
Helen Isuni.
Congratulations.
Yan Go.
Congratulations.
Yi Go.
Congratulations.
Savas Janitsarides.
Congratulations.
Victoria Jane Elizabeth Gribben.
Congratulations, well done. Thank
Tinuala Epidiola.
you. Congratulations.
Zhong Wenjun.
Congratulations.
David Joffe.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Winner of the prize for the Best Distance Learning MSc student in the Management Centre, Karsten Jungmann.
Congratulations and well done on your prize.
Nicholas Karuki.
Congratulations.
Baljit Kaur.
Congratulations.
Asba Khan.
Congratulations.
Yusuf Khan.
Congratulations.
Yu Hei Lam.
Congratulations.
Chin Lee.
Congratulations.
Lin Liu.
Congratulations.
Evangelos Machiaras.
Congratulations.
Syed Shah Munidin.
Congratulations.
Si Nang Ong.
Congratulations.
Temitope Oyunlada.
Congratulations.
Andrew Sharples.
Congratulations.
Wei Liang Siu.
Congratulations.
Chow Chow Sun.
Congratulations.
Hajra Teresa.
Congratulations.
Si Wu.
Congratulations.
Hong Yang Chu.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Lai Lai Chu.
Congratulations.
Fei Yan.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Liafusiu Yakini.
Congratulations.
Cecilia Yakini.
Congratulations.
Winner of the prize for the best full-time MSc student in the Management Centre, Chang Yu.
Congratulations and well done on your prize. Thank you.
Chai Cheng Zhang.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Xi Jing Zhang.
Thank you. Yes, congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Financial Economics, Ededoyin Adaliki.
Congratulations.
Angela Agidi.
Congratulations.
Giovanni Calise.
Congratulations. Well done.
Anthony Chilvers.
Congratulations.
Maria Chrysostomoutou. Oliver Garn.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yanidis Giotis.
Congratulations.
Adam James Howard.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Ling Bo Lee.
Congratulations.
Hei Yan Lu.
Congratulations.
Constantia Macri.
Congratulations.
Matab Mansingh.
Congratulations.
Li Wang.
Congratulations.
Ling Wang.
Congratulations.
Wei Bo Cheong.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Chao Yu.
Congratulations.
Chun Jiu.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Chao Jing Zhu.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Health and Safety Management, Catherine Beekmans de West Meerbeek.
Congratulations.
Kelvin Jones.
Congratulations.
Sally Moore.
Congratulations.
Amanda Richards.
Congratulations.
Ian Riddell.
Congratulations.
Philip Thornton.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Management, Carolyn Atinyi Ajuna.
Congratulations. Well done.
Garit Aras.
Congratulations.
Gajendra Balakrishnan.
Congratulations.
Usha Krishma Binik.
Congratulations.
Gloria Aroma Watch.
Congratulations.
Hang Shang Kiao.
Congratulations.
Jing Kiao.
Congratulations.
Nurten Chalik.
Congratulations.
Xiu Ling Chan.
Congratulations.
Yu Yang Chen.
Congratulations.
Christella Constantino.
Congratulations.
Winner of the prize for the best master's dissertation in the Management Centre, Marianne Damtsas.
Congratulations and well done on your prize.
To Fan.
Congratulations.
Christiana Fosu.
Congratulations.
Guan Go.
Congratulations.
Jun Hao Go.
Congratulations.
Jin Quang Go.
Congratulations.
Bo Huang.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Han Jiang.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Jan Li Jiang.
Congratulations.
Vasilia Cusetti.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Jin Li.
Congratulations.
Kay Li.
Congratulations.
Li Li.
Congratulations.
Na Li.
Congratulations.
Shangron Li.
Congratulations.
Hao Ming Lin.
Congratulations.
Chiang Lin.
Congratulations.
Junbo Lu.
Congratulations.
Paniotis Marino.
Congratulations.
Anna Michalidou.
Congratulations.
Omut Honor.
Congratulations.
Jagruti Pala.
Congratulations.
Juan Pan.
Congratulations.
Amit Parmar.
Congratulations.
Claire Pitt.
Congratulations.
Lindsay Victoria Schofield.
Congratulations.
Karen Sykes.
Congratulations.
Kitty Sue.
Congratulations.
Riyad Tilafat.
Congratulations.
Olga Fostrieva.
Congratulations.
Hui Wang.
Congratulations.
Jiang Wang.
Congratulations.
Suk Nyang Wong.
Congratulations.
Ray Yang.
Congratulations.
Petros Jiangju.
Congratulations.
He Zhan Yu.
Congratulations.
Yu Yu.
Congratulations.
Zhan Zhang.
Congratulations.
Wen Jingjiang.
Congratulations.
Zhang Zhou.
Congratulations.
Yin Yang Zhou.
Congratulations.
Qi Jiang Zhou.
Congratulations.
Yu Yi Zhu.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Marketing, Yenep Aksu.
Congratulations.
Alfred Atakora.
Congratulations.
Dean Boff.
Congratulations.
Anup Bogpal.
Congratulations.
Yi Chun Chen.
Congratulations.
Oliver Dorley,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yishan Fan,
Congratulations.
Rula Flivari,
Congratulations. Well done.
Dharmesh Garala,
Congratulations.
Xu Junguan,
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Xiu Hua Hu,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Ru Fang Huang,
Congratulations.
Ji Dong Huang,
Congratulations.
Nan Jiang,
Congratulations.
Ya Jiang,
Congratulations.
Niru Judge,
Congratulations.
Dimitrios Karagiannis,
Congratulations.
Andri Lambrou,
Congratulations.
Surafan Lervizit,
Congratulations.
Lin Nan Lee,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Wing Han Lee,
Congratulations.
Jing Liang,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Quan Ming Lin,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Li Ma,
Congratulations.
Karen Maguran,
Congratulations.
Eli Anna Natar,
Congratulations.
Bhavesh Panchal,
Congratulations.
Kyriakos Sakinidis,
Congratulations.
Alison Saunders,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Young Kui Shan,
Congratulations.
Leslie Story,
Congratulations. Well done.
Bo Sun,
Congratulations.
Chao Sun,
Congratulations.
Hui Sun,
Congratulations.
Edwin Uzoho,
Congratulations.
Puma Vanat,
Congratulations. Well done.
Hui Lin Wang,
Congratulations.
Huang Huang Wang,
Congratulations.
Liu Wang,
Congratulations.
Huan Chun,
Congratulations. Thank you.
winner of the prize for the best full-time MSc student in the Management Centre, Maria Zenu.
Congratulations and well done for your time. Well done.
For the degree of Master of Science in Police Leadership and Management, Sean Beebe.
Congratulations. Well done.
Philip Davis,
Congratulations.
Craig Guilford,
Congratulations.
Judith Heaton,
Congratulations.
Rod Jarman,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Alison Kent,
Congratulations. Well done.
Thomas McLaughlin,
Congratulations.
for the degree of Master of Science in Researching Work and Learning, Joanna Roberts,
Congratulations. Well done.
for the degree of Master of Science in Risk, Crisis and Disaster Management, Oliver Janser,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Edward Alsop,
Congratulations.
Anna Baker,
Congratulations.
Kathleen Staunton,
Congratulations.
Mark James,
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Helen Kerrigan,
Congratulations.
Nicole Stewart,
Congratulations. Well done.
Joseph Tung,
Congratulations.
for the degree of Master of Science in Security and Risk Management, Esmond Adair,
Congratulations. Well done.
Gabrielle Badia,
Congratulations.
William Barr,
Congratulations.
Sundeep Chana,
Congratulations.
Ian Chapman,
Congratulations.
Wayne Edwards,
Congratulations.
James Guilford,
Congratulations.
Dimitris Herodotou,
Congratulations.
Robin King,
Congratulations.
Jason Quay,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Elaine Latour,
Congratulations.
Steve Lidston,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Dennis Murphy,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Sean Purnell,
Congratulations.
Paul Smith,
Congratulations.
Guy Thoburn,
Congratulations.
Michael West.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Security Management, Malcolm Stephen.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in the Study of Security Management, Michael Wetton.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Training, John Clark.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Sally Ann Rosamond Douglas.
Congratulations. Well done.
Claire Kempson.
Congratulations.
Jason Williams.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Training and Human Resource Management, Rhonda Boyce. Madeleine Camilleri.
Congratulations. Well done.
Philip Floyd Orville Chandler.
Congratulations.
Chung Phyllis Chung.
Congratulations.
Kenneth Kutijar.
Congratulations.
Glenn Harding.
Congratulations.
Ishak Hassan.
Congratulations.
Jian Huang.
Congratulations.
Andrew Keith.
Congratulations.
Raymond Taboni.
Congratulations. Well done.
Bak Hing Tay.
Congratulations.
Sharon Vella Pace.
Congratulations.
Huai Lang Catherine Yu.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Training and Performance Management, Michelle Birmingham.
Congratulations.
Michael Brennan.
Congratulations.
Patrick Campbell.
Congratulations.
Jacob Dua.
Congratulations.
Stephen Geeson.
Congratulations.
Mary Lynn.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, P. Chung Chiang.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Finance, William Boteng.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Marketing, Janice Manti.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Criminology, Hui Mei Wu.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Finance, Edward Lamptey.
Congratulations.
David Agimang Prempa.
Congratulations.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to admit to the several degrees for which they are presented by my faculty those candidates who are absent.
By the authority of the Senate, I admit those candidates who are absent to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Lord Lieutenant, my Lord Mayor, distinguished guests, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, may I first of all echo the Vice-Chancellor's words of congratulations to all of our graduates here this afternoon on your magnificent achievements. And by the way, can I also add words of congratulations on that thunderous round of applause that we just finished with? It has eclipsed your colleagues this morning, you'll be delighted to hear. It's been a particular pleasure for me to share this very joyous day with you, as it is, as the Vice-Chancellor mentioned, my very first congregation as your Chancellor. So you, and indeed your colleagues this morning, will remain, for me, a very special group of students indeed. And can I also say what a particular pleasure and privilege it has been to present honorary degrees to two such distinguished men, as I had the privilege of doing so earlier. I will forever take away with me the image of that 16-year-old boy that David Campton has left us with. And I have had the privilege over many years now of working with Sir John Enderby, so to have had the opportunity to present them both with their honorary degrees has made the day also very special for you. Of course, all of you who have graduated here today deserve our very special and very warm praise. You come from a single faculty, that of the social sciences, but the range of disciplines you span is truly enormous. You come from a whole spectrum of ages, as I have noticed in shaking your hands, and you represent many, many nations across this planet. But you now share one common bond, which will remain with you always. From this moment in time onwards, you are alumni or alumni of the University of Leicester. That's something that you and your families and your friends should be immensely proud of. It is a mark of distinction, as I say, that you will carry with you throughout your lives and throughout the rest of your careers. Many of you, of course, as I have learned during the day, are already in work, in your careers, and I salute those of you who have undertaken the challenge of full-time employment and studying via distance learning for your degree here today. You deserve a special praise. But for all of you, whether you are entering the world of work for the first time or returning to your positions, you have acquired in the course of your studies with this university competitive skills and experience which will stand you in very good stead in the future. Now, I use this word competitively quite deliberately. As I said a moment or two ago, a number of you, many of you, have used distance learning methods in order to achieve your degrees. And that has brought you into intimate contact, of course, with the internet and the World Wide Web. The development of the web has not only changed your lives, it has changed the lives of each and every one of us. The world of information today is a very small and very accessible one. Within that information, there is, of course, knowledge to be had. And what you in your studies have shown is that with diligent application, that information and that knowledge can be turned into wisdom. And if we have left you with one skill when you leave here today, it is this power and ability to reason and to think, wherever the facts and the knowledge you have acquired come from. It's interesting to think that when Francis Bacon, an English philosopher of the 16th century, coined that immortal phrase, knowledge itself is power, he can have had no conception whatsoever of how appropriately this would sum up our modern world today, 5 centuries later, where new innovations spread globally at the touch of a button, or perhaps I should add, at the click of a mouse. But as I said, you have acquired skills in Leicester which will stand you in good stead as you enter this ever more competitive global arena. Of course, those of you who are already in the world of work do not need me to remind you that the easy part is behind you, acquiring your qualifications, and the hard work and the challenges are ahead of you and just beginning. The degree is simply a starting point. It is what you do with it and what you accomplish in the future which will distinguish you from your less successful peers. Leicester University, as you heard from our Vice-Chancellor, has distinguished itself in many respects in the fields of research and scholarship, literature and learning. But you know, the thing that really distinguishes Leicester is what its alumni and alumni do with their careers and their lives. You carry with us the future of our reputation as a university. I have every confidence that you will grasp the opportunities which life brings in the way that your illustrious predecessors as graduates have done. However, as the Vice-Chancellor said at the outset, this is, above all, a joyous day, a day for celebration. Somebody is already starting the celebration, I hear. I think it's high time, therefore, that you were no longer constrained to sitting listening to your Chancellor, but that you got back to your friends and your families to begin that celebration. Can I say once again what a privilege it has been for me on this first congregation as Chancellor to share this day with you, and may I conclude, as did the Vice-Chancellor, with my personal wishes to you for every success, health and happiness in the years and decades ahead of you. Thank you. I now declare this congregation closed.